about that time. Assemble and talk. No cap. It's a civil war. You thinking you worthy. You feeling like door. Smash that like button like Hawk, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here once again. If you're new to the channel, if you're not, this is the best podcast in the multiverse. And today that makes sense because we stepping out of the superhero realm today.
Yes, sir.
We just came back from the movies from seeing Avatar Way of the Water, and wow. By the way, this is a spoiler review. So if you care about spoilers,
Get a body
back
here.
out and come back to this later on after you see the movie. If not, enjoy the ride.
Wow, where to start from,
Where to
right?
start
It's
from,
just,
literally.
it's like, first of all, the way they start to, I liked it.
Wait, you liked it?
I liked the way it started.
You didn't love it?
Okay, sorry, yeah, wrong word to use. I love the way they started it, honestly. It kind of like sums up basically what we expected to happen after the first movie. Like, you kind of expected that for them to move around and not be
the way they
the
was
same.
moving,
Yeah, you know? And their location now. Like, that's how, I don't know if you heard me, I was like, that's smart. Well, as soon as they showed their base and the...
Well, in the beginning, we still talking about it.
Yeah, in the beginning. When they showed that
they was up in the mountains. You did say that.
That makes sense because now they're more open on the land, being that even though the sky people left, but for more safety for them, you know?
So they was clearly in the moving mountains.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I genuinely thought that was smart and so bad as hell. And to see more of the inside of what's going on up there, like it was amazing.
Yeah,
It was beautiful.
It was cool, definitely. Like you said, seeing the way they was moving, I mean, that was mad cool. And like to see the smartness that they picked up off of Jake Sully, you know, he was the one that running that team, you know, like the whole, like literally. But it was definitely cool to see the way they was like implementing things. The raid was crazy.
Oh yeah, no, the raid was crazy.
That was in the beginning when they raided the trains, right? It was the cargo train going by. By the way, humans be wildin'. They built damn near a city overnight, and they also
literally though, because they had just came.
Yeah, and it was fire that it made sense why though, because they had these little spider machines, and they was like self AIs, right? Self-sufficient, and they was building. The guy literally said, these bad boys right here, they could build a building in 6 days. We don't know how big of a building, but they were showing skyscrapers.
6 days is crazy.
Yeah. And it made sense when you seen the whole landscape of all the. They had just got there,
literally.
bro. I think it said a year later, right?
Yeah, it said a year later.
In 1 year, they had the whole fortress. Humans came back super duper strong this time. And by the way they came, that was super dope.
I thought that was so sad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was beyond sad, honestly.
It goes funny because he sees the bright star in the sky, and it's super duper bright. It don't even look like a star at this point. It looked like a meteor about to crash. And he's like, he already know. He like, that only can mean one thing, ships. And then you see them dead ass coming down, and it looked like Star Trek or something, like the way the beams was like on from the thrusters, and then the thrusters was so powerful, and the ships was so big that they was interstellar traveling with. The shockwave of fire, I guess the fire wave you could say, was so enormous. It was higher than Home Tree. I mean, I know Home Tree fell in part 1, but you know they got other trees that look like Home Tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say when they was scanning, like doing the pan view, like it was
and they showed it hit two of those big ass buildings, trees, and it evaporated them like I'm talking about disintegrating, like Thanos, like it went crazy, like. That was, you could imagine, you see all the animals dying and stuff, like, they did that a rip, like, and that wasn't even an attack, that was them landing. Crazy.
Let me just say, if you thought the same thing I thought, because that, like, was on my mind heavy, how the fuck did all the machines get there in part 1, right? This definitely answers it, right? Like, because
but for me, I like I said, I already kind of felt that.
You said put together, they put it together there, but that's a big ass thing to build.
When we was watching it, I said for one, they doing interstellar travel. You don't think that they able to bring these things over here? That's what I said, and then I said after that, I said 2, or they could have built it right there. Like they obviously got the tech to travel through the cosmos, so they can. But yeah, they definitely answered it. They showed that they bring them on huge ships and She's talking about like the huge,
Ginormous.
giant ships,
Like, it would
the
take
ground
over-
ships, the ones that was like that was I guess trying to what you call it? Like they were trying to tear down all the trees and stuff, like in the forest in
That
part
shit-
one.
That should look like the size of Manhattan itself, as far as like how big it took up. Imagine they had like 6 of them big trucks and that one thing.
Yeah, besides some hands, OD.
Them shits were huge.
Yeah, but it didn't come across like that to me. But after the beginning, right?
Right.
So they have to move, which I got. The storyline was great. The whole time watching this movie, you feel like the storyline, it keeps you there. It's no part that makes you feel like, what's going on? No, it's you there.
And you gotta be very wary of the words and the order that they put it in, because when they start speaking about the kids too, as order from then on, from them, how you say, explaining themselves, like, because it was Jake speaking, right?
Yeah, Jake was narrating.
Like narrating, right? So when he's speaking about his kids and the concept about what's going on between that time, it's a lot of details in there. They gotta be well to understand it when you get towards the middle of the movie. Because then when you get to the middle of the movie, it's like, oh, okay, like if you were confused, but about the kids.
I don't think it's that confusing about the kids.
Really? Because you didn't hear that part? How Clayman was a miracle? She was a miracle. Like it was.
No, I heard them. Everything they were saying about her. I'm saying like I didn't. It happened so quick that those are parts that you would pause and go back in your crib on. That's what I mean. Like I didn't to analyze everything she said, but you hear it clear as day. They saying they didn't know what was going on with her. They were like, we don't know what happened. Like she's
It's a miracle.
Yeah, like she talking about Grace's daughter. Grace has a daughter in this movie. No one knows how. Like her avatar gave birth, literally, but it wasn't even awake. Her avatar was in cryo sleep. So that was just crazy. And then Jake Sully and his wife, they adopted her and took her under the wing, and that was mad cool because it's fire. Because like Grace is in the movie, but not in the movie. It feels like that. Like, oh, I bet. And she OD looked like Grace, by the way. I don't know. I kept thinking that the whole time. I'm like, yo, she's dead ass Grace. How we didn't notice that in the fucking trailer? The kids was cool. Kids was mad cool.
Great.
The boy gonna probably get a lot of y'all tight. I mean, the younger boy. There's 2 boys and 2 girls. The younger boy's gonna get a lot of people tight. He got me mad. He just kept, like I was telling her in the car, I hate that arc. I hate the son that's like he's not even a mess up. He's just doing the most. Like you trying so hard and you just keep making bad decisions after bad decision after bad decision. I told her it reminded me of the movie Troy and Hector's brother. Like you so in love with Shorty that, not saying that's what happened with Avatar, that he was in love with her, but you know how Hector was so in love that he started the war and then got his brother killed, which was a stand-up person. And spoiler alert, that's what happens in this movie. He gets his brother smoked, which was that is the most touching part.
That is, yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah.
And then before it happens, though, I think like you see it coming. That his son,
I told you, I agree with the. I
his son is
it.
gonna die. But it still hits hard. You like, damn, that's tough. And she didn't agree with me, but I feel like the son that died that's the older son. That's, to me, he looked identical to Jake Sully. He just looked younger. She says I think the youngest son,
one looked
I think
replica.
he looks nothing like him.
I
thought he was like a.
I felt like he had a little bit of a wider face, but it was everything Drake. Like it was. Come on.
Yeah, it
You
was.
gotta look at it again.
Yeah.
That's Jake right there. That's Junior.
That's Junior. JR. Nah, yeah, that ain't, but nonetheless, the son, like, I like both the sons, like, all the kids, like, it was cool, like, you know, as much as the other kid, like.
Did it get too much of
He didn't
get too much of how the daughters and the youngest one got.
No, they basically didn't give the older kid nothing.
Like, yeah, they
like, he was in the movie hard body, but
looks-wise, like, as far as being in the camera,
it wasn't focused on him at all.
Exactly.
Or you know, it's because he was clearly, like, the son that. He was already mature. He was the good. Yeah, he was the good child that one that comes home from college.
Facts.
And the younger son is the one that's living in his shadow.
Shit up.
Yeah, like, and not even really fucking shit up. He's just making mistakes. No, because fucking shit up sounds like I'm out here on savage mode.
That's all right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like,
true.
he's
I
not-
mean, but he's not intentionally fucking shit up.
Well,
But
he's messing things
He's
up.
messing things up a lot.
The little
Common
dog.
kid shit, by the way.
Yeah.
Which you didn't agree to that.
What?
I was like, I felt like he was just acting like being. You felt like more. I mean, the way you said it was like the role itself, the arc of his role, but it just felt like he's just genuinely being one of those rebellious kids because he has human DNA. As far as
It could've
people who
been
grew
the human.
like the Navi people, they grew up. So what we think is like, oh, I couldn't handle this for more than a certain amount of days because we're so used to technology and shit like that. Is what I'm saying. Is like, I felt like as far as like what they think is, we worship this as a human. We wouldn't do that. Like, you know, we don't worship things like that. So I felt like he was having like more like human genetics when it came to like being more like just rebellious.
Yeah, he has more of a human
like,
arc.
Yeah,
Period. Yeah.
Like he was just more rebellious.
They moving very humanish. Jake got them moving.
Now, and
No, but I mean now. We only seen them now. The family. I'm
No.
talking about the family.
oh, okay.
The family's moving
yeah,
through the whole movie. They're moving very human-like. They're on the run. Even though that's not a human trait, I'm not saying that's a human trait, but the way they going about things, like, you know, it's
he's a
Jake.
Marine. Yeah,
it's
he's a
him.
Marine.
And that too. That nigga's like mad, like American, right? Like,
Oh,
so like
dear.
the way he thinks and everything, like he's just like Earth for sure. Like, and you can tell he taught them with his ways also, not just their ways of the Navi and all that. I wanted to talk about how cool it was that the way they touched on. I gotta remember his name. The general, the colonel.
It was something quad. What's his name?
I don't know, but the colonel, he they did that cool. And last night when we was watching the movie part 1, we asked ourselves that, like, yo, I was telling him, like, they gotta address that quick.
Facts.
I mean, they gotta address that quick, and they did. As soon as they stopped their montage with Jake narrating,
went straight to him.
Like eyes opening up, waking up as an avatar. Yeah, that was crazy, by the way. Like, I mean, we all knew he was coming back as an avatar, but it was fire to see him go through it the same way Jake went through it in part 1 when he woke up and he could feel his legs again. Like, homeboy woke up, like, he started popping on everybody. You know, he a general, right? So he was popping on everybody.
Quaritch. We're just gonna call him the Colonel.
Quaritch. Yeah, we don't call him Colonel. But yeah, the way they brought him back was mad cool. And then his homeboy was there. His son that got stomped by, you could basically say, one of them dinosaur-looking things with the bald head, the white guy in the bald head from part 1. And he was just like being like, I guess like you could say like a prick. He was in the movie. He the one that greets the colonel when he wakes up. He's like, yo, bro, it's me. He looking at him while he's in avatar form. He's like, what? He like, hold on. All right, I'm good. I'm not gonna pop on y'all no more. Like, and he's like, yo, all right, cool. And then his old self apparently left a video recording from part 1.
I knew it.
Explaining to himself that he, what happens, like, yo, if you watching this, it's because you died. I died, basically. And
Hasn't happened yet, but...
Avatar, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Honestly, I was right.
With what?
Who, Roses?
Oh, so, Kate Winston? Kate Winston.
I was just looking at it.
No, yeah.
So.
Kate Winston from Titanic, Rose, basically. She's in Avatar 2. You know, James Cameron shot Titanic, bro. That's his movie. So it's cool to see him bring her back. Like, that stood out to me yesterday. I seen her name pop up, and I was like, oh, she could be in the movie. That's dope. And then the whole time watching the movie, I couldn't find out who she was. Like, so she was saying, like, most likely she's the tribe that they go meet, the water people, the water avatars. Like, she was saying that that's the wife from there, like the queen. It makes sense. She has to be her. Honestly, I don't disagree. It has to be her.
And then, no, after you said it though, remembering the faces, and I'm good with faces.
Oh, wait, that's what you were just about to say?
Yeah.
It is her.
It is her.
Oh, sorry, I'm saying it like, and I'm...
No, yeah, I
was
just
about to
looked
ask
it
you,
up too.
yeah, I was like, what are you about to say? But then, yeah. That's
Sounds
crazy.
right.
So she was her. Wow. She didn't strike me as her, but it makes sense. Like, that's the only character she could have been to me. Like, that was mad dope. I like the water people a lot. Yo, the water people are so cool because, you know, I was telling her last night about Avatar. I'm like, they humanized it crazy. Like, this is like one of the only alien movies that the aliens actually feel like a real species. Like, they feel like it's crazy. Like, when they take you to Pandora for the first time, he's going through the jungle. Even when Grace telling him everything, put him on, Norm putting him on, Natiri putting him on, him narrating, like they really, it's so much detail for the little stuff in Pandora, and it's a planet, so there's more stuff that we don't know. There's stuff that we don't know right now about our Earth. So when we see the water people, even though we know we're gonna see other water people, like we knew we was gonna see other avatars, right? I knew, and to see them still, you couldn't expect what to see. Like they just they made it so humanized. I don't know how to explain. It's just like it feels real, bro. It feels like, all right. Example, they aqua and not like blue. That royal blue or that blue that the avatars are. Like they clearly aqua. Like you see it's different. That's like Earth. Like people with different skin colors. Like especially if you come from a different part of the world. Like. And that was already dope to me. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then off rip, you don't notice this detail until they mention it, or unless you peeped it off rip. I didn't, but
I peeped though.
Their hands is different off rip. Like
their tails.
They have their hands come out and it looks like fins. It's like fins, and it's like sleek and thin, and then it's just they're clearly adapted to the water, like because they come from the reef. They're the reef people, right? That's what they call, right? People of the reef. You're like, you're forest people. Y'all don't know our ways. Y'all gonna be like babies. And it's funny, that's like an Easter egg to when the Terry told him that you're like a child, you're like a baby.
Stupid.
Yeah. So that was like an Easter egg. But their tails, the kids was fucking off rip, the kids was teasing the other kids. They're like, yo, look at their tails. That's supposed to be a tail.
But then looking at them, it must have been weird for them too.
So yeah, the kids were teasing them about the tails, and they like, was that supposed to be a tail? It's so thin, like. It was just mad cool to see the interactions between, like, you got to meet a whole new tribe now, a whole new type of people. They had a totally different ways. They literally lived near water, and they didn't show them being in one tree.
Nah, well, their tree was on the water actually.
Yeah, they had that. Yeah.
Literally, it was actually more like looked more like, it was a tree.
A reef?
Yeah, no, yeah. Because core, the whole core around there.
Oh yeah, they had a tree on the water. It's clearly a tree. That
it's clearly a tree. It was just the plants look different, obviously, but it's a tree. But beautiful.
I like the fact that they didn't overbully. They didn't over. I know this is probably not a word, but like bullyized. All right, they didn't make the other son such a bully.
The oldest one?
No. Sorry, not the other son. The sea people's son. Sorry, they didn't make like he had his bully moment, like right, like but after that. He wasn't like, like they overdo it in movies, like the kid is just constantly bullying, like.
He had his moment right when he took the blame.
Yeah, well,
when Jake's son took the blame, he was just like,
son. When Jake's younger son,
why would you do that? Like I just really fucked you over, like
basically, why would you do that for me? Like, bro, I just know what it is to like be the mess up, the family mess up, basically, like everything was blamed on you. He like, well, you just got to stand up, nigga.
Yeah,
you came back. First of all, they left him for dead.
Dead ass.
You see it coming too, like, and then his homeboy gave him the look, like, yo, go ahead. Left him for dead all the way underneath the ocean, and it was
somewhere far too. He took him.
They took them. Yeah, that's like us going like
past the reef.
Yeah, like a good 50 miles offshore, and it was called like the Three Brother Rock.
Yeah.
Right. It was fire. It was like island. It was like island, small islands, but they had like a big rocks, like big boulder, like basically hilltops. Like it was just dope. And then they left them out there. Like they was like surfing, you could say, like, but they was going hunting. Like, nah, this is where like the real hunters go hunt.
They said this is what the men do.
Yeah, this is what the men do basically. Niggas swindle him. He like, nah, I'm good at first. Right?
Yeah,
and he like, oh, maybe I asked the wrong brother, like, cause they know.
Try to put the
battery in his back, cause the older.
I could do this too.
Or he like, let's go. Where's that? Right? Like, and then it's funny because the colonel had a moment like that too. When his we gotta talk about that too. When he went to go get his the colonel went to go get the not dragonfly
the ecran.
Them joints, the joints that fly.
I think I said
I'm trying to say, what's the pterodactyl? That's what I'm trying to say, pterodactyl. I know it's not a pterodactyl, but that's the closest thing.
I just said this name.
I know, but I'm not gonna...
It's like more like a...
But I'm saying that's what the word I was looking for. It's not a dragonfly. That's the word I kept saying.
It's a dragon, but it flies. That's what I just assumed.
But a dragonfly is the bug.
You're right, I forgot.
All right. Nah, but when he went to go get the thing, remember, he was like... The kid started laughing, and he was like, so funny. He like... I ain't gonna lie, kids way younger than me here take these joints down with their bare hands. Like, you trying to use a tranquilizer. He like,
He's like,
Jake Sully did it like this. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, that was an OD funny moment to me because he really driven now against Jake. Like that L was crazy to him in part 1. So he's like, nah, I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna prove to you.
Nah, I gotta take out. Yeah, I gotta take. And then it hurt. You could tell it hurt him more because he said it at the end. Like, I had you under my wing, bro. I took you under my wing, and you not betrayed me. You know, like sergeants, so I take that dead serious. Like, I felt him on that. But to talk about what I was gonna say, we gotta speak about is the colonel had a son.
The colonel had a son.
So apparently the colonel got someone pregnant of the human people before he died, and the kid, not even like he was in the kid's life, but he was a bad father. Like he talks about it in the movie, and so I guess the kid must have been probably a couple years old.
I would say nothing more than 5.
When he,
actually, he said baby, so baby could be anywhere between 1 and
3.
Yeah, 1 and 3.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 1 and 3 because
so
after that's like toddler.
But he was in his life. That was the point, and he basically wasn't shit to him, and then he still has the memories from the colonel, right? Not that, like, that's how it worked. Like, so it's like, yo, bro, I know I was a bad father to you and all that, but I'm not your dad. I have the memories of your dad, like, but you know, I can hold you down, basically.
That's so army-ish for him to say it like that too. Like, it was the way he said it. Like, I'm not your dad, but the memories I have.
But all that shit was cap.
Because he felt it.
Because at the end, not to jump straight to the end, but at the end, Naturi was about to, she snatched up this little nigga. All right, first of all, let's not skip past the son's arc. The son, Jake explains the son off rip in the beginning of the movie. He's like, there was a little boy that got left behind. He was too young to go into cryo chambers to get sent back to wherever they was going. I don't even think Earth is existing anymore at this point. 'Cause I think they referenced Earth in part 1. Remember, he was talking to AWA. He was like, they killed their mother. They're gonna do the same here. Talking about like Mother Earth. That's how I took it. Mm-hmm. So, long story short, he couldn't go in the cryo chamber. The little boy, he was a baby still. So he had to stay on Pandora, and he stood with the population, right? I mean, there's no more humans there running nothing, so he was basically a little avatar, but wasn't. He was, no lie, he's dead as Tarzan, right? We agreed on that, right? He was Tarzan. Yeah. He had the story of Tarzan, like grew up in the jungle, and you know, he thought he was one of them, but then he grew up to realize he wasn't, but he still was stuck in those ways, like he was doing the right? Like all of that, like he was like the cat during battle and all that, like he was like, he was rough play and all that. He ran with them. Like, it was fire. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was just a dope ass character that they added to the movie. And then, so basically, I know you say you didn't hear that part, but in the beginning when Jake's narrating him, he says how his wife, Naturi, would never look at him differently. She would always look at him like one of them. No matter how much he was like the avatars, she would never look at him like that. She would always look at him like the Sky People. Because of what the Sky People did, you know, that's just the way she knows. Yeah. So it's funny to see how that plays into the movie, because at the end of the movie, at the final battle between Jake Sully and the Colonel, he goes and he has basically Grace's daughter, which is Jake's daughter, right? He adopted her, and he has a knife to the neck. He's like, bro, I dead has to do it, and you know he's not playing. He's like, I dead has to do it right now. So Jake throws his knife down and everything. Naturi, she's already on a mission. Her son already died. She's sneaking through the back and all that. She got her bow and everything. No, actually, at this point, she just got her knife. Her bow broke. Her dad's bow broke. And then she goes, and she deadass snatches up the little homie that she been raising also. Like the Colonel's son that been with them all this time. Son is like a teenager.
Yeah.
I think
he looked about like anywhere between like 16 and 18.
You know what I think happened? I think the time from the first movie to this movie actually played out in between movies. I think it's 13 years later.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
You know, so, because all the kids are already like older and stuff. They show like different ages of them too and shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she grabs him up. She grabbed the little nigga up desperately. That was just straight a desperate act. It was like, I know I raised you and all that, but at this point, this man is wilding this Sky People. This Sky person is wilding. And he got to go, and he got my daughter now. Like, and so she snatched up the little nigga, like, that's to kill him. She even sliced buck 50 his stomach.
No, his chest.
His chest, yeah. She buck 50'd him, and then it was like, yo, I do it. And then she was like, you know what? time was up, right? And she went to go kill him. She went to go kill him, and he was like, the colonel was like, all right. She called his bluff basically. He was like, I don't care, that's not my son. But nah, then he was like, all right, stop. Like you could tell he loved his son. That was that. And that was fire that they did that.
And you could see the genuine look he gave him, because also when after his son saved him, because at the end, obviously, you know, he had his moment, but he still survived, right? The colonel. But his son saved him. That look he gave him, they had a moment right before his son was like, you know, they had a moment. Like he wanted to be with his son.
And he wanted to be with his dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he knew about his dad. He knew the colonel was his dad.
But he didn't like what?
He didn't like what he stood for and what he did.
Like
he was part of the Na'vi. That's it. He was like, nah, it's over.
That was pretty cool. So
yeah, I didn't like when he saved his dad. When he saved the colonel, I didn't like that. But I'm okay with that because he's gonna be in part 3, and he was a great villain. If y'all thought he was good in part 1, he doubled down on this one. I don't think he did like better than part 1. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he doubled down. Like he did it again. Like he was good again, and he's an Avatar this time.
Yeah.
So it's different. Like, he's not an old Avatar. He's a young boy. Like he's in his prime. Like he's outside. Like that was mad cool.
Yeah, I basically gave him everything he needed to be basically equal to them.
Yeah.
So.
Because
they said it was fast, strong.
Yeah, they did actually touch on that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
so it's like that was the purpose. Now he's on his. They're equal. So I could do exactly what you do and beat you still. Like.
And it was fire too because in the first movie they kind of had like they balanced the field basically with putting him in the machine.
That was the point because he's bigger.
Cool. But I wanted Jake to break him up so bad outside of the machine in part 1. But you know that didn't happen. And then it's cool because they brought him back this way. And then I tell you, I ain't gonna lie. That's why I said it like while we was watching. I'm like, I've been waiting for this. I really was waiting for a 1-on between Jake Sully and him, and it's equal. Deadass. Like I was just waiting for that. Like.
And they had their moment.
No, yeah, they did. They had a nice little fight. It wasn't the best fight, but I think it was good enough. Like it was good. I just didn't like the way he ended it. Like he fiended him out, like chokehold. But
so this nigga was not giving up.
I wanted him to kill him. I tell you, I wanted him to do what Tony did. Well, what Thanos did to Tony in Infinity War before he didn't kill him. Like, I wanted him to stab him, basically, what I'm saying. I wanted him to stab him and then stop the whole theater. Like, I wanted it to be like that. I wanted him to kill him. Bro, he just killed his son. No, he didn't kill his son. But your peoples killed my son. But my son Jake a real one. He like, yo, so while we waiting for, let's get it right now. Talking about you gonna keep coming back.
I said, so let's go. It was beautiful. It's so stunning. I say I'm flabbergasted. It's beyond. I'm still excited that I saw it. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't even know what to say. It's just amazing, and I liked how they touched up on a lot of color. That was my biggest thing. Because as soon as I saw the dogs from part 1, they had spots on them now, and you seen it didn't look black anymore or
like,
more bluish. It looked fucking beautiful. Like it was.
I tell you, like. Probably like 65% through the movie, I was like, yo, this is the most visually stunning movie I ever seen. It immediately got that award to me.
Yeah, no,
like every movie, no movie, part 1, nothing amounted to how visually stunning this movie was. I ain't gonna lie, and it was so much more 4K and like the details, like you said, was just crazy.
It had you looking literally like. Had me looking from like I wanted to see everything that was in the picture of this every second. Like I was just like capturing everything as much as I could because it was everything from even from it being a main focus. You still see everything in the background and it's beautiful. We went to go see it in 3D. I enjoyed the 3D. How did you feel? I know you said like really, but. I liked it. I didn't not enjoy it, but it didn't give me the effect it gave me when I was younger. Like when I was younger, them shits really felt like it was passing me. Like you know what I'm saying?
It was at one point.
It only like when the fireflies, the little lightning bugs, like it felt like it was coming just a little bit. It didn't seem dramatic, and I know why you asking that because, like I said, and I mentioned in the car, every time I put down my glasses, it looks fine. You know, if you go see a real 3D movie, when you put your glasses down, it's even hard because it still looks like it's like too movies.
Well,
like, you know,
for me, it was like that. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I put my glasses down, I got bad eyesight though, so I could blame it on that. It was like, I don't know. I had a different experience with the 3D. Like when I just put my glasses down, it clearly was like the two images with the red and blue.
No, it didn't look like that.
When I put it back up, it would be together. It wasn't popping out. I'm not saying that like when it was coming through. Nah, but I feel like I got to enjoy the 3D because I feel like it made the pictures itself, the landscape itself, just look more. It gave it more of an in-depth and a dimension.
I feel you. Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Rather than just two-dimensional
Yeah.
on screen 4K. Like the water horizon, when they be in the water and coming up and down, like
that should look
it feel like you're going in the water.
That
Like
look fire.
I'd be like, yo, this is crazy right now. And like the smoke particles or like the debris at the end of the movie, like it was one point when it was moving and I really felt like I was seeing it come from behind me though. Not come shooting out, but the debris was coming from behind me. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like that was cool. I know we probably don't got too much time left. I wanted you to speak on Grace's daughter. Because you have broke it down in the car.
Okay.
And I feel like you cracked it.
So what I noticed, like I paid very well attention, especially to Kitty. That's her name, Kitty.
Oh, wow.
I paid.
Well, start from the beginning with how she came up existence, period. I mean, we said she was a miracle earlier and all that.
Right.
But also how she was, right, like, all right, let me just let you go. Sorry.
No,
because I feel like that's
from.
what I was gonna say. Like her being the miracle child.
Okay.
No dad. Or like, but actually they touched on the subject of like, nah, was it Norm? Did Norm knock up Grace? But I don't think that's the case, and this leads into everything that you started to figure out in their eyes.
Okay. Right. So we know. When they speak of her, they say that they don't know where she came from, that it literally kind of just happened with Grace, and then she was born, and they just adopted her. Like, that's really all they touched up on her, like, literally at the moment. And then you, later on, paying a lot of detail, which I did to her the most, because it just seemed, Grace's daughter? How? How is that? Like, that, it didn't. And I'm one to, like, break things down. I like doing stuff like that, especially in movies. So it's like, How is that? It's stuck in my head a lot, basically what I'm saying. So seeing more how she acted, how she was more distant from the family, period. Like she was kind of really on her own doing things, even though she was together with them in the pack. Like she would lean off. You see her that she's by herself, you know, or she was with the baby. But mainly most times she was by herself, and she was just like.
You're right.
Exploring,
I'm
like
just
really.
Picturing it.
She had her Jake moment, like when he first came to the jungle.
Wow, that's a great way to put it.
So, right? So I started seeing that this is where she's lived for all her life. So it's like, she's still amazed by these things, but it's the fact that she feels more connected to these things rather than how other people, how the other Navi look at it as just the jungle, that's their home, that's just it. To her, she's connected with everything around her. Like she says that everything is implanted, the neurons and all that extra stuff.
Sorry to cut you off, but she had a moment where she was like, yo, like she's talking to Jake and she's like, Dad, I feel AWOL. Like I'm not bugging. Like I hear her, I feel her heartbeat. She's all around us. It's like, and it's not the way that Jake was saying it, like, nah, like, or Grace used to say it, like, nah.
It's everywhere.
No, she's saying it more like a physical or spiritual
Exactly.
presence now. It's not just like, deep in the roots. No, she's talking about a spiritual presence. Like she feels AWOL. Like forget.
So, right. So then it goes to now they're in the sea people area right now. You see, once they start getting in the water, everybody kind of goes their own path. The brothers are together. She's with them at first, but as soon as they go deep underwater, you see them. They keep going back and forth. They're having trouble trying to breathe because they don't know how to adjust to the water yet. Kitty had no problem.
No, she was underwater.
No problem. Did not come up to water once.
No, she was acting like a fish. She was underwater just chilling.
And she was kind of, if you notice, she was swimming like them. Instead of how people like, she was like swimming like a fish. Like she knew what she was doing.
She was a natural. Like you would thought she lived there.
Didn't come up for water until she came to check for her brothers. But she barely didn't come up for water. And again, she felt so connected. Like
it was dope because... Remember, I was like, that's the Grace in her. Because she was so fascinated with nature and studying and being a scientist without knowing. Like, but yeah.
And then also Awa. her being connected made her more driven to, besides being interested, being like, explorer, she felt more connected. That's why you didn't notice. Like, at first I thought it was weird too. Like, why is she just looking at the sand? No, that hole, I don't know what it meant, but it meant something, and she genuinely was connecting with it at that moment. So, all this is what I'm saying. That moment when she goes into effect and she connects with what? It wasn't the tree. It was with
It was like an underwater plant or something like.
It was their sacred. It was their sacred place.
Oh, that's what it was. It was their
sacred place.
sacred. Yeah.
Their sacred place.
The water people.
Yeah. So when she went under and she bonded with it, she connected with it. She saw her mom. Like immediately, Grace said, "My daughter, my baby girl."
Yeah. They implemented this thing in this movie where, like with Black Panther did with the astral place.
Yeah. Okay. That's
the astral realm.
Mm-hmm.
So like they would see their ancestors, and it was a literal place. It wasn't a dreaming realm. No, you would really see the person that died.
So from there, when she was having her moment where Grace and stuff, Kitty and Grace, you see immediately Grace notices that something's wrong, or that she feels troubled, and she mentions that. And so as soon as they go to hug, they have their little moment, and then as soon as Grace is about to start speaking, she starts it looks like she's drowning, like she's having gasping basically, if you were drowning.
Facts.
And to what we know, Grace's avatar is in a pod in the water. Mm-hmm. I think you also mentioned, you kind of threw it more, I thought it was more like she did wake her up. She woke her up in the pod is what
that makes more sense though.
What I thought. Like she had her moment, whatever she did, because obviously you see that she also has these kind of little powers. Like the way she connects with everything.
She's the chosen one. Like
so she makes things happen.
At the end of the movie, she literally started she took this plant thing that had tentacles, and she made it grab one of the soldiers and crush him. Like she was doing what she wanted. Like she was and I'm talking about airbending. She was controlling species, plant life, everything. Like she was doing everything. Like she was like a superhero for real.
So noticing that, it just all made sense to me that obviously at that moment, whatever physical touch they had at that moment, it made something happen for Grace, because I think that was the problem. They were having a hard time trying to wake Grace up.
Yeah,
like they was still sleeping. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what it was, and she's definitely gonna be in the third movie.
And to cap off what you said too was that Kitty's basically has AWOL in her.
Oh yeah, so she's basically, Kitty doesn't have a dad, because basically AWOL is, if you want to be basically two genes, dad and mom, dad, mom, whatever. It's two parents, and AWOL is her parent. I feel like that's her dad in a way.
It made me think of Virgin Mary and Jesus. That's what I said in the car. Mm-hmm. I'm like, she don't have a dad, but God sent that, right? Mm-hmm. So AWOL sent that, and it's him or her. Sorry, AWOL's her. She's living through Kitty also. So Kitty got powers in her, so she's like Jesus, to them. It's crazy. They went up and beyond in this movie. To cap it off, the fighting was way better. The action, the fighting scenes was crazy. The shootouts, the arrows, everything was intense. It was like John Wick. I'm not
gonna lie, I wanted to mention this too. I wasn't expecting the whole, I was expecting it after I noticed what was going on, but I wasn't expecting it to happen, period. That type of the whole wire snapped off his arm. I honestly thought it was going to snap off their body. I'm like, but that's kind of this is supposed to be kind of like a kid movie.
When it took off his arm.
Yeah. At first I thought it was going to take off somebody's whole half.
Amputated his arm,
first,
the wire.
But I'm like, but this is kind of kid movie.
It was
this is kind of crazy to
be
a kid movie.
But
then the arm, it made sense. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was amazing to see that, come on, it's common sense. If it didn't catch his body, it was no way that it was not going to catch something. And it...
Yo, all the water shots.
The arm flew off. I was like, yo.
All the water shots are unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Unbelievable. Crazy. The night shots to the morning shots. And then it's fire because they played more with the, how would you call it? The sun going up and down. But they played more with that, with being the eclipse. So, you know, it's a moon of another planet, of a bigger planet. So the big planet is in the sky all day. And so when the sun, picture our sun coming up, and then midway through, it turns dark now on Earth because it's an eclipse now. And that's it. And then, but it comes back on, but it's like a couple hours later.
Yeah.
It comes back out before it goes back down again. It's crazy. Picture having 2 nighttimes. Essentially.
That's all I was saying. I actually thought it was one, but now it makes sense because now that I'm memorizing it.
But for a
two,
couple
yeah.
hours, they got nighttime because it's an eclipse. It goes behind the planet, the sun. Crazy.
Because even in the fighting scene, it goes from, it was like dark and then
Yeah,
nighttime,
exactly, yeah.
and it went to morning.
Little detail, I like how Jake's youngest son pointed out while he was in the ocean that his dad came from that star right there. They didn't show the star, but they show him pointing at it, and that's cool that they can see the sun or from there. Like,
Because he said it.
because you know the
my
sun is just
parents from there.
the sun is just another star. So if you're on another planet in another galaxy or another solar system, you would just see the sun looking like another star in the sky for you. So that's how it was for them. But the fact that using astrology, they could point to it and be like, no, it's that one. Like, you know, Jake Sully was smart enough to do stuff like that. It was dope. I feel like we got a lot out, but we probably still missing some things.
yeah,
When we watch this, we be like,
so
oh, how
much.
we didn't mention that. It was just really, really cool.
Animals, the animals we see too.
Oh yeah, they show some more stuff.
Wow.
They really play more with the sea creatures. in here.
Yeah, I like that. That was the point. Like I'm I'm a sea person. I love water. So to see that and how they came immediately when I saw the big,
It's like a whale.
yeah. I thought it was a whale / lobster. That's what it was giving. The way
Oh,
the tail looked.
that's a good way to put
the
it.
way the way the
I
tail
didn't think of
looked.
it like that.
And then the body obviously of
Yeah,
a whale.
you're
And
right.
then it had
Yeah,
like
I can see it.
yeah.
I could see it. Yeah, it had like the tail, like you're saying. Like the fins looked like the tail of the
A
lobsters
lobster,
also. That was dope. Word.
And then
It was cool how his son had that bond with the outcasted. How much you keep calling it whale?
Because himself, he felt
Yeah.
like an
It was cool, and then
outcast.
people
So
was like, "Yo, you bugging, bro? Like your
Yeah,
son
you
is outcast. You're
wildin'.
not supposed to mess with him. He a killer." He like, bro, he not a killer. And then when he went inside his mouth, I knew he wasn't gonna eat him. He was mans with him. He went inside the whale's mouth, and then he
connected with it.
connected with the Shahelo, and then he seen the history, showed him everything. He like, oh, it was an ambush, and you let your mans into that, so that's why it is your fault. But you didn't kill them like they making it seem. So that was dope too. I liked every act of the movie. So you know every movie has 3 acts, first, second, and third. Every act held its own, and it's no downtime.
At all. Yeah, at all. At all.
Yeah, I said it over it. This is the best movie I've seen all year for sure. So for me, it's the best movie all year, and it's definitely probably the best movie I've seen since Infinity War, which is my favorite movie. Prior to Infinity War was Avatar 1. Then Infinity War came out and I liked it more than Avatar 1. This is, I think, the best movie since Infinity War. I don't like it more than Infinity War. Infinity War holds a special place in my heart. But what I'm trying to say is it's better than Endgame.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's what I'm getting at.
Hold on.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, it's that good, bro. It's like, I think from how I felt watching Endgame in the theater that day, yes, it was a great movie for me. It didn't give me Infinity War feeling. So that was already like, okay. And it was just a year apart. Seeing this after 13-year wait, thinking they might drop the ball, nobody cares about it or whatever, and yo, it made me feel, I haven't felt like this since Infinity War. Like, this was so good, bro.
I think I can agree with you.
Like, so
I
good.
think I can agree with you.
Like, the last movie that made me feel like kind of like this was No Way Home. Like, damn, that was a good ass movie. Like, leaving the theater, like, yo, that was mad good.
I feel like that for Multiverse, but
Yeah.
now that was my movie.
Yeah.
Like that, I felt like that top notch Multiverse madness. But this right here,
You know what's
That's
something?
right here.
You know what's something I'm gonna not do? I'm not even gonna compare it to the first one and say is it better than. I'm not gonna even ponder that question. It's its own movie. I love it for its own movie. Part 1 is its own movie. I love it for that movie. I'm not gonna even hit that question and say it's better than part 1 or not. But part 1's better. I'm not even gonna say that. It's a great ass movie. Amazing. One of the best movies I've ever seen in life. I ain't gonna lie. It's a 12 out of 10 to me.
We doing a scale? If you, shit, I don't even know what number to put. I wanna put a big ass number, but I wanna seem like.
See how I said 10 out of 12?
Huh?
See how I said 10 out of 12? Say what you feel. Like if you feel like 500 out of 10, say what you feel. Like whatever you feel. So you can give people a real genuine how you feel.
That shit was 1,000. Bro, that shit, it just everything about it and being well in tune. If you genuinely really love the first one, you're gonna fucking love this one. This one, it brings everything out. It's so vibrant. Everything detailed into physical, to emotional,
storyline,
everything is
character development.
Yes, well detailed. Everything. It's all there for you to just enjoy. Like you have to see.
I highly recommend watching part 1 right before you see the other one. Like not the same day or whatever. I mean like that week, watch part 1 before you go see. Just rewatch it again and then go see part 2. It's just stuff will be refreshed in your head. You're like, oh word, yeah, that's right. He said this. Oh yeah, facts.
We gonna watch it when we get to the room, right?
Yeah, we gonna watch it when we get to the room. They got it on the movie websites. You know, if y'all don't know, hdtoday.tv or fmovies.to. The plug.
I'm the plug for F movies.
But you got it. And it's a good copy. I already went to go see because once I see the movie in the movie theater, I'll go see the bootleg. I don't care. I was watching it in the crib. I'll be thirsty.
Woo,
and they got a good copy up. So if you feel like you can't make it to the movie theater for whatever reason, they got it up on the movie websites. So
but definitely
go to the theater if you can.
The movie.
If you can go to the theaters,
see this.
yeah, go to the theaters. If you can find
IMAX
time, yeah.
too.
Yeah, IMAX. We seen 3D. We should have seen IMAX 3D. I forgot to leave that detail out.
I mentioned that. You was like,
No, you said 4DX. That's why.
Oh yeah, I did say that.
I kind of didn't want to be moving for 3 hours straight. That's why.
I doubt we.
I didn't mind the water spraying on me, if so, pause. But
I guess I just wanted to really feel the full effect.
I guess you should have just did it and not told me.
Yeah, I should have.
But good thing we're gonna go see it again, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So y'all heard it here. Any last thing you want to squeeze in?
Go watch this movie. Go watch this movie.
Facts, I highly agree. Yeah, so y'all heard it here first. Hopefully, probably not. Probably be like the 50th time y'all heard a review, but y'all heard it from us. We are the Assemblers. I am Sluggy.
Tiny.
And so next time, Assemble Time.
It's about that time. Assemble and talk. No cap. It's a civil war. You thinking you worthy. You feeling like door. Smash that like button like Hawk. Yeah.